Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades, and welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and we are proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and want support to continue that growth, John and the team are the people to speak to. We're also proudly sponsored by VMB Auto Centres. Thank you for their continued support of the channel. They're at Answorth, and they are currently offering 50% off your MOTs if your vehicle's in need of its annual MOT. So they are the people to speak to for that. So thank you to everybody that continues to support the channel. Thank you also to people that have been voting for us over on Instagram and over on the page. I don't know if I've even got the link in here, but for the Football Content Awards, Best Podcast, we are nominated for the Football League Best Podcast. So just incredible to be involved in being a finalist. But we're here to talk today. It is 90 after 90. We're here to talk about Sheffield United getting a point at Portsmouth. Now, I'll preface this by saying I think this is quite a good point in the grand scheme of things. I would have probably taken it before the game. And it doesn't mean that Portsmouth didn't play well and it's not a fair result. I think it probably is a fair result, to be honest. But my concern is about what my team are doing. So I'm starting to wonder if we should get a little bit... Look, whatever I talk about now is first world problems, because we've done so well in the summer from what we had. If we think back, in fact, I nearly found it, but I didn't have time to piece it all together properly. But I remember doing a ramble back end of last season saying, I've never said this before, but I don't like many of the players. I don't like many of I just didn't feel a connection to the club when we were rock bottom, and it were an awful thing to feel. And now the turnaround from that is incredible. We had some brilliant players walk out the door. People like John Egan, George Baldock, whether you think Ollie McBurney were invaluable, Ollie Norwood, there's all these big names that have left. And it was a huge job in the summer to rebuild us. So I think we've all waxed lyrical about the job that the club has done to bring in these players. And I still think every signing has been positive. I don't think there's been one signing this summer that I would say has been a bust or has even been dodgy or anything like that. I think even people who aren't readily involved, like Shackleton and McCallum at the moment, I still think they're good signings for Sheffield United. However, we're in the area of, if we're going to win this league or be promoted out of this league, should I say, which is obviously the aim. I'm not saying we need to go to Portsmouth and we need to turn them over. I'm not saying that at all. But I feel like with a little bit the architects of our own downfall at the minute. And I'm going to touch on probably taboo subjects that will trigger some because they won't agree with me, but I'm here to give you my honest opinion, and I'm here to hear your honest opinion as well. I am yet to be convinced by Vinny Souza, and I don't mean that he does some things very well, but he also does things very sloppily, and it concerns me. I certainly don't think he's a captain, but that doesn't mean I don't think he's good for the team overall. I'm nitpicking here, and I just think I'm not yet convinced by him. Somebody else that you hear it whispered in quiet corners, because undoubtedly this has been a brilliant signing for Sheffield United on a free transfer. Callum O'Hare. Talk to me tonight about Callum O'Hare, because I love that we've signed him. I'm very excited that he's a blade and he's a permanent blade, and we've beaten people to him. I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. I don't think he's got anywhere near to his top level. It's not really working between him and Moore. I think he flatters to deceive a little bit. I was with my dad watching the game today, and we both agree really on that. I think he's not as quick as he appears because he's only got little legs, to be fair to him. I think Adam Oxley said that in commentary, but I'm not saying by any means Callum O'Hare is a bad player, because we know he's not. He's a very good Championship player. But we want players that are in the category that are so good for Championship that they're going to potentially come with us to the Premier League if that's where we can get to. We are thin in terms of squad numbers. We need those quality players that we've brought in and kept, like Sousa, like O'Hare. We need them all to be pulling in the right direction. And I'm not saying it was just on them today. There were also some really bright spots. I thought Alfie Gilchrist played brilliantly before he came off again in the 60th or 70th minute. I thought Harrison Burrows were brilliant today. Really, really strong performance from him. I thought Rak-Saki completely justified his selection. I've been calling for Andre Brooks in the starting 11. That is clearly why we're persisting with Rak-Saki. I thought our threat faded when he left the pitch. So, yeah, talk to me about that. I'm just trying to be open and honest with you all about how I'm feeling tonight. Is it too early to be concerned about these things? Is it... I don't know. I am nitpicking because overall, it's a good point. We're still unbeaten. Why am I moaning about it? I understand all that. But first things first, I'd normally jump into some comments now, but I'm conscious that one of our first callers is at Pompey, and I don't want him to miss his bus or anything like that. So I'm going to welcome him in. In fact, I'm going to first need to get me... This show's done it. I didn't have my backdrop set up, but he's here now. It's Jamie. How's it going, pal?
I'm all right. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can just about hear you. It's a bad line, but you are there, aren't you? You're at Fratton Park, mate.
I am, yeah. And coach has been sent to the home end so we're currently stranded for a bit.
All right, okay. So you got a bit of time to talk to me about the game. What did you think then, pal? Yeah. How did you find it today?
I mean, because I went, I'm slightly disappointed that we didn't get anything, because the last thing you want when you've gone 4 hours somewhere is a 0-0. But thinking about it, it's not too bad of a result. It could have been a lot worse thinking about it, because we have got problems up top. We have got a goal scoring issue, and I think it has been covered up by some Hamer's magic at times. So we cannot rely on him every single game, all 46 games, because that's not going to happen. So I think we do have the problem there. But defensively, Mike Cooper, my God, that end at first half, my God, that was a right save.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. He's a touch above.
Defensively, you're not looking brilliant.
Yeah. Go on, mate. I'll let you carry on.
Yeah, I think overall, just going forward, we just did not have that final third. Yeah, as you said, Rak-Saki, he was good this game. I wasn't his biggest fan, I'll be honest, but he really did well today. He was a proper player. Yeah, really good today. Really, really good.
Love that, mate. Love that. Are the travelling fans all right? Are we still in good spirits down there today?
Yeah, everyone's fine. Everyone's doing all right. So we're just getting on with it. And I think too many people are that drunk where everyone's just saying to move on to Swansea. Because a point against these is hard. I mean, you take Leeds, they only just got a point for them. Burnley, they only just beat them. These are going to be good this season. They're only down the bottom though because they've had to play all of the top teams in like one bunch. So I think after today, I spoke to one of their fans who was sound as all. I said to him, once you all play yours, I think he'll be off because they are a good side, well drilled, good coach.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. I'm not going to keep you long because I'm conscious that you're out and about and you're down there trying to get on coach and stuff like that. But
about to turn up.
All right, okay, mate. Okay, so I'll leave you to it. Well, thank you for joining us, pal. Thanks for starting us off tonight. I think it's a good point in the scheme of things, so I'm with you on that. I think they're a decent side days. It's more a case of how can we improve on our performance, I think.
100%. Right, cheers, Jimmy.
All right, buddy. Speak to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, pal. Ta-da. Nice one, Jamie, starting us off tonight. Right, I just wanted to get Jamie out of the way because I was conscious that he was down in Portsmouth. I'm going to get to some of your comments now. Evening, Jimmy says, Tom, just come out of the ground. Last away game for us. Absolutely clueless, making them look like Real Madrid up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Just listening to local radio commentary as we're driving away, and it's kicked off, apparently. Pity they haven't shown that much fight and effort during the game. I think that's harsh, Thomas. I mean, you've seen it from your own perspective. We know no commentary slant, no, it's your own perspective. I understand that. It did kick off again after the game. Look, I like a bit of handbags after the game. I don't mind that. I like the fight for the shirt. I like the fact that they're together. But we've been fined twice already, I think, this season for after the whistle melees, and we want to be careful that it doesn't sort of slip towards threats of point deductions and things like that. We don't want to be done with anything like that for things outside of the game. It's just, yeah, I do enjoy it, but yeah, they've got to calm down a little bit, I think. Evening, Jimmy, says Jack. Good save from Cooper. Cooper's brilliant. Cooper's absolutely brilliant. I love him. Raksaki was excellent, but no one in the box for his ball. Campbell did well from what we saw. Yeah, I thought Campbell did okay when he came on. Lively, in my opinion, still not good enough in front of goal. Solid defence again. I do think there was a lot of positives to take from the game defensively and some nice football. I think Raksaki played excellent, was even getting involved defensively. I didn't see much of that, but I'll take your word for it, pal. You'll have seen more being at the game. Oh, were you at the game? Sorry, I might have misread that. Not happy with the point, though. I'm all right with the point at Portsmouth. I think it's a decent point. I think you've got to... We're being greedy if we want to... We're not going to turn everybody over every week. Gary says, hi, Jimmy. This feels like a defeat. Oh, probably me being a bit greedy. Clean sheet, but no goals for 2 home wins before a break. And I'm sure would have taken that up the Blades, up the Ramble. I don't know whether that's FTO, but there you go. Happy with the point, says David, and another clean sheet, but we need to find some bite up front, up the Ramble, up the Blades, like, and subscribe. I agree. I think we do need to find a bit more bite. And that's not a dig at Kiefer Moore. I think Kiefer Moore had a very good game again today. It's just not quite clicking for us in the final third. And I wonder if it's that 10. I wonder if it's the fact that I don't know because like we were talking today about me and my dad, I picked my dad up from the airport last night. I'm really out early hours that morning because his flight was delayed. And we're talking about what do United need? What strikers are available for us to go and get, even in January? There's nobody that I can think of. You might say that David Brooks has been touted for us. So you bring David Brooks in, great player, gets in the 11. Who comes out? Who comes out of the 11? Because he'd probably play where Hamer's playing now. Do you drop Callum O'Hare and put Hamer in the 10? Maybe at the minute. Maybe. But then it's still a waste of a really good player that you've heavily invested in Callum O'Hare. So I'm not sure the club will do it. If you bring in a striker, I think that's a dilemma for us because we're not going to write off the money that we've spent and invested in more. Because we've paid a fee for him, 1.6. We're paying him what, 30 grand a week allegedly. That's a lot of money for our club. You're not going to bring in somebody on more money than him to usurp him and bench him. So then you're looking at strikers who are going to happily come and play second fiddle to one striker. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. We'll see. We'll see. It's not good enough. We should be beating teams like Portsmouth, says Sam. We need to break away from this formation. Moore will never score if he's on his own up front. Raksaki doesn't suit the system. I agree with second half, pal. I think we've got to be careful at not believing our own hype a little bit. And Portsmouth are a good team, well organised. I thought they looked quite threatening at times today. I don't think you can write anybody in this division off. They've played a lot of good teams, which is why they're lower in the league. If they were in a similar position to Derby or Oxford, because of the different the way the fixtures lined up differently, then we could have been having a completely different conversation. They might be 8th to 10th, and we're going to their ground, and a point's a good result. I still think a point's a good result. Mr. V says a point away is always decent, but the lack of goals is a real concern. I agree. Even if we want to get automatic promotion, the defence is top notch, same as the goalkeeper, but creating chances and finishing, I know. Absolutely fuming with the refereeing, says Beast Boy. Brewster and Campbell look way better than O'Hare and Moore up the Blades, up the Ramble. I won't agree with that necessarily. I think O'Hare's, and that's just my opinion, and you're more than entitled to yours, pal. I know you've been consistent with saying this as well. I think maybe I'd like to see a little bit more of Campbell. And I don't know whether we drop O'Hare immediately, but something's got to change, hasn't it? Because if you're going to drop O'Hare for Campbell, you've got to really go 4-4-2 with both Gus and Raksaki high like they are now, maybe tucked in a little bit. So maybe 4-2-2-2. But you can't play rigid with the 10 unless you put Campbell out on the left and Hamer in the middle. It's concerning, says Mr. V. A point is no use. We should be coming away with 3 points, says Sam. They're very demanding, Sam, this evening. Cooper is very good, says Beast Boy, and Raksaki was a bright spark today. I just think Brooks should be starting. Takeovers still smoking mirrors, says Chris. Dino says goalless draw away from home. What's not to be happy about? Best home atmosphere of the season for me. Dino, I don't know if you've been, pal, but on the feed that we were watching, sounded like a fantastic atmosphere all the way around. We always have fantastic away support. I think Adam said we brought nearly 2,200, which were at full allocation. And Pompey fans were singing all game, weren't they? So you can't say more than that. Nick Cook, our most generous Rambler by a country mile. Thank you, pal. Evening, Jimmy and fellow Ramblers. It was a good game to watch. I think we deserved a win from our performance, though. Yeah, I think a draw were fair, to be honest, Nick. I don't think we did enough to edge it. I mean, we probably had the more clear-cut chances, but they also had their chances. There were a bullet header at end that could have changed the whole complexion of the game. We're coming on and saying something quite different, aren't we? But thank you very much for your donation, pal. It's very much appreciated. Evening, Jimmy and all, says Ian, the gatekeeper of the Ramble. Happy belated birthday for yesterday, pal. Well, it's another clean sheet, but frustrating. Getting to some promising positions, but final ball and a lack of anyone taking a gamble to get in the box is costing us. Like and subscribe. Okay, you're getting to some promising position. Yeah, it's not quite clicked, has it yet? Not quite clicked. And the thing is, do we persist? Do we persist with what we're doing and believe that it's going to click? A lot of us have said, me included, it's only a matter of time before we hammer somebody. It's not happening, is it? It's not happened at the minute. I understand we're still unbeaten, but we should be getting 3 points today, says Sam. Relentless. With the top teams dropping points, it was our opportunity to put pressure on. We should be getting 3 points today. I'm still worried with the lack of goals. There's a long way to go before we need to start looking at the table, Jack, honestly. I know it's tempting to have a look, and I don't know where we are now. We're probably still in playoffs or in and around, certainly in and around. But as long as we are averaging more than 2 points a game, and that is promotion form. So it's as long as you can stay consistent rather than what particular results you get, if that makes sense. Or I certainly see it that way. So, yes, there's been teams that have got a couple of better results than us so far. We've obviously had the 2-point deduction, which knocks us back a touch. I think we have to focus on our own. We're unbeaten. So while I'm being a little bit, should we be a little bit concerned? We've still got the bigger picture is we've gone away from home and not lost again. It's just we're wanting more, aren't we? Because we're expecting more. There's been an investment in the team. We're coming down from the Prem. They're coming up from League One. That's the narrative. But in reality, ours is a brand new side, still getting used to playing with each other. And they are a competitive, strong side that won the league below, and a good young manager that's thought very highly of and done good things with them. So I think in the grand scheme, it's a good point. I need to keep reminding myself of that, though. Another point, says Brian, another clean sheet. Cooper save, outstanding first half. Raksaki, best game so far. Need to finish teams off when we're on top. Yes, we do. I'll take it as a point gained rather than 2 lost. Yeah, interesting. O'Hare had a bad game, says Josh. Up the Ramble, up the Blades. I'm yet to see him have a brilliant game. And that's maybe harsh. That's maybe harsh to say, but those type of flair players that are magic and can just change the game. He recently won as he aimed, didn't he? Were it Derby that he scored? No, it weren't Derby, that was Gus, but there were one at games where he's wheeled his way in and it's gone off back at keeper. Watford, I think it was. So he's a game changer for us, but we haven't seen enough of it. He needs a bit of consistency in affecting games. And I think some people have been afraid to say it. And now, like Josh and a couple of people, I think Ben said in our chat, in Rambler's chat, he's not quite got to the levels we were hoping for yet. yet because it's early days. Point on the road and still unbeaten, says Danny. Referee needs to do better. Slightly worried about that final ball, but we move up the blades. Well said, pal. A bit toothless. A little organised at times, says Happy Chappy. We're crying out for another number 10, but we haven't got one. So where do you play that number 10, pal? You mean instead of O'Hare, I take it? That's not going to happen, is it, when we've invested so much in him? Tricky. Hi, Jimmy, a decent point again, says Ricky. I think so. Only positives, really, says Darren Westerby. Long way to travel. Portsmouth weren't bad. We were really good for the most part, but just missing that confidence in the box. That being said, I'm proper excited about this 11. Yeah, I agree. I still think I wouldn't change this 11 for any other in the league. It's not quite clicked yet. Point away, says Dublin Blade, 4 clean sheets on the bounce. That's brilliant as well. Absolutely brilliant. I'd taken a point beforehand. Thought we could have scored a few. They should have scored with that free header, and L's booking was a joke. Oh, we need to talk about that booking. So, for those of you that have missed it or could only hear it on radio and couldn't get full context, the ref had been letting some really quite naughty tackles go and not booking players. And I'm all right with that as long as he's consistent either side. So that had been okay. It's more like Pompey fouls that he's letting go. We're still getting free kicks, but they're not getting cards when I think they probably should have done. That's by the by. Anel goes down to tie his shoe. He goes out for a corner for them. Anel goes down to tie his shoelace. He's waving and saying, "Stop! Can we stop play? Because I'm just tying my shoelace. Stop play! Stop play." Corner comes in anyway. Ref hadn't stopped it. We hurriedly clear it again for another corner. And Anel saying, "Whoa! I'm trying to tie my shoelace here. Can I just get down and tie my shoelace?" Booked him. Fuck back chat. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Not as bad a point as some people will think. Would have been easy to roll up today thinking another 3 as they've not won a game, but this league is unpredictable. Look at West Brom today. Yeah, absolutely right. Went and lost to a poor team, West Brom today. Best point we'll get all season, that Jimmy says now then, Blades. Think Brewster starts on Wednesday for more. Also, Sariki starts for Gilchrist. You're a big Sariki fan, aren't you? And that's fair. But I love Alfie Gilchrist. I think he's a real Blades player. Paul mentioned it, Clarkey in our chat. Raksaki and Gilchrist will play together most likely. And I think he's bang on with this because Raksaki doesn't do a lot of the defensive duties, even though it's been said earlier that he does. He has done a little bit today, which is fair. When we make the change, more often than not, if we want to bring Sariki on, it'll be with Brooks, or Brooks won't be too far behind, or will have just come on in front of, because Brooks does that defensive work, whereas Sariki's a little bit more attack-minded. You wouldn't want Raksaki and Sariki in the same team, I don't think, because then you've got them both up front pretty much, haven't you, at times, and a massive gaping hole at back. So I think while ever Raksaki's on the pitch, we'll try and have Alfie there. That's just my opinion, though. Oh, and if no one thought Cooper was amazing before today, I'm pretty sure they do now. He'll turn losses into draws and draws into wins. He absolutely will, pal. He absolutely will. Best signing we've made, I think, in summer, and that's in a summer of really good business. I think Cooper is our best signing. Decent point, but someone other than Hamer in the attack needs to step up. Well said, Bean. I agree with that. Hamer needs to go to the number 10 and Brooks and Raksaki on the left. And or Raksaki on the left. Teams will soon stick 2 men on Hamer and stoppers. So you're dropping O'Hare for Brooks and or Raksaki. 1 player's on left, 1 player's on right. O'Hare in the number 10. I'd be tempted to do that. Kiefer Moore is not a forward. End of. That is a shout. That is a strong opinion. I disagree. I think he works hard. He does everything but bag, which is obviously what you want your number 9 to do. I think the goals will come. People keep saying it, and the longer it goes, the more frustrating it gets. But he's a forward. He's a forward. Of course he is. Sousa's done well for me this season, says Ricky. He has done well. He has done well. And he's looked really comfortable at the level. I just think on occasion, I'm just not convinced by him as a he would be, out of all our saleable assets, I think he's the easiest to replace. and that doesn't mean we'll replace him easily. But I think out of Blaster, Hamer, and L, Sousa is the one that I'd sacrifice if we had to sell someone, because he still doesn't fill me with loads of confidence. He's still the one that could get caught on the ball, daydreaming a little bit, but he can also then jump and do a spin and intercept a forward pass really well. And if he's alert and he's on it, then he can be really good. I've seen that as well this season. So in spells, he's been very, very good. But I don't like those moments of idolitis. This team is screaming out for a left winger, says Bean. How we didn't get one is a mystery. Don't see many goals or creativity on our bench either. It depends, because Brewster, we all wish well and we want to come good. Campbell is largely unproven, particularly in this system. Looked lively, I thought, when he came on today, but certainly not a proven goal scorer, even though he often looks dangerous at the level. And creativity, what you'd look at Andre Brooks. Not much more than that, is there? But we've got a lot of creative players on the pitch. We've got Raksaki, Hamer, O'Hare. So maybe if you bring O'Hare out of the firing line, move Hamer inside, and maybe start Brooks on the left, or Raksaki on the left, or get a left winger in, like you're saying, like a David Brooks, for example. And then you've got options, haven't you? Like a Callum O'Hare on 60 minutes. People aren't going to want to see that. So it's just difficult, isn't it? Difficult. We lack composure, said Chris, and looked off it today. No one can claim their best game today. Need to be more ruthless with the ball. Take a point and move on. Apart from Hamer, with no goal scorers. Just hope we can hold on to him. Oh, we're in mid-table side. I think we're better than that, pal. But you're right. He looks our main threat for goals at the minute. A little bit worried with the one up top, says John. Seems like we've got bags of talent, bags of potential, but misfiring. That's exactly where I am, pal. That's exactly where I am. It's a concern, because what else can you do? What else can the manager do? It's tough, isn't it? Because we'd all be confident with the 11 going out and playing really well, but it's that final bit that we're not getting. Evening, Jimmy, says Mark. CW alluded to why he keeps bringing Gilchrist off. He's not fully fit for the rigours of Championship football. That's a concern for me, Mark. I heard that, to be fair, in his presser, weren't it? And he's been playing under 21s football. He's got to get used to men's football. I get all that, and we will be getting the data on him flagging and stuff, which is sort of what we suggested, weren't it? I think it's not a cop-out. It's genuine. Wilder won't be saying it for any other reason than it'll be true, but I do worry a little bit about that, about having to have somebody come off every time at 66. When is he going to be fit enough to play a full 90? I thought it was great today. I'd have loved to have kept him on, and that's nothing against Sariki, because I think he does bring an attacking flair to the team. But I think Gilchrist, you feel really comfortable with. He's no George Baldock, but but we're getting there. In my opinion, it's more than more, says Jack. I think he's doing what's asked. I think it's even the quality of balls in the final third. Only thing I saw today was a ball going in and no one meeting it there. Slightly worried that we aren't creating many good chances, says Josh. I'd like to see Campbell in from the start. Would that be instead of Moore? Tough ask. It also looks like they're going for the perfect pass into the box instead of shooting sometimes. I agree with that, Jack, to be fair. Right now, if we went behind in a game, I wouldn't be hopeful to pull it back. I always think we've got enough. I don't know. Is more McBurney in disguise, says Chris. Both as bad as each other. Can't see more scoring too many goals. I love the fact that people come on and give their own opinions, and I'm happy to go back at you. Couldn't disagree more. I couldn't disagree more. I think they're completely different players. Andy the Blade had great pleasure in telling me today that McBurney was again on the bench for Las Palmas, who are bottom of the league. He scored no goals. It's one that he will not let go, but Moore is certainly more of what we need at this level than McBurney. I think he's a better player, and that's obviously up for debate. But I think Moore gives so much more to the team. Nick Cook, unbelievable, pal. Well, I don't think a lone striker is working. Moore gets well marked. We need to go 4-4-2. Who we replace, I don't know, but this current system is not getting us goals. Thank you very much again, pal, for your very generous donation. I said this to my dad when O'Hare came off and Brewster came on. I was wondering what we were going to do, because we've seen it before where he sticks to the 4-2-3-1. Well, if Brewster's coming on, you don't want to play him in the 10. You want to go 4-4-2, don't you? You want to play Brewster alongside Moore. And I didn't see enough of it there. That's definitely what we're trying, even though it looks like we were trying that rather than a 10. So I thought that was progress, but we need to be a bit more fluid with the formation. I completely agree. Hamer really doesn't have a left foot and has to cut inside too often. You'd say same about Raksaki though, wouldn't you? On the right, we've got two inverted wingers who need to cut into the favoured foot. Time to put Brooks on the left and take O'Hare out, move Hamer into the middle. A good point, says Jimmy. Top two lost and another clean sheet. Grinding out away draws. We're not at their best, is what the championship is about. Pompey had some solid draws. So happy with the away point. I think I am too, pal. I think I am too. Let's see some more people, more likes people up the blaze. Thank you, Mr. V. Appreciate it. Always doing us a solid. If our players keep getting fined, there'll be no funds for January. I know. This is the danger, isn't it? This is the danger. Oh, well, would have been more than happy with 3 points, but it's okay. Need a change up front. Not happy with more up front. Sorry. Don't be sorry, pal. Don't be sorry. Listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion. It's just, I know Wilder came out in his press conference this week and asked for people to be more supportive of him, basically. Because Danny Hall put to him that he splits the fan base a little bit. And he does. He does. I don't get why. I think it's too clear cut to say he don't score enough goals. I think there's so much more that he does for the team. Just a reminder that we go up to 90 minutes. We've been going half an hour tonight, and I'm nearly at the end of the comments. So if we finish early, that's great. I will be in the good books with Mrs. Ramble. But if you want us to carry on a little bit longer, get your comments in. And if any of our Ramblers want to call in, you're more than welcome. Tom says, example for you, Jimmy, to highlight the problem. We did Watford 1-0. Following week, Norwich did them 4. It's a good point. It's a good point. We're not ruthless enough, are we, in the final third? That's undoubted. We're not ruthless enough. But can you be with one striker? Now, you can if your striker's Erling Haaland. Ours isn't. This system can work, and a lot of teams play this system at this level. So it's not necessarily the system. It's not necessarily the personnel, because you could cherry pick a side and you put a lot of our team in there. It's just not clicking for us, and it's so frustrating as to whether is it a question of time and allowing them the time to gel together, or is it just a case of, look, we haven't found the right combination yet? So, don't know. Jack says, I think Moore's doing very well, in my opinion. I think he's doing everything asked of him. I've now let go of him scoring every game. Another example, Wednesday beat West Brom 3-2, and they're doing poorly. Yeah. We are nitpicking. I have to say that. Nick Cook again. Unbelievable, pal. Thank you, mate. Thank you. All this talk about Moore. Okay, he's only got 1 goal, but his technical ability is far superior to McBurney's. He does more on the ball than McBurney did and gets into good positions. I think it's just not only that, but you can see him. McBurney had a lethargic way to him, didn't he? In terms of he would jog and it would look laboured when he was chasing players down. And I'm trying to cut him a little bit of slack there, but Kiefer Moore puts it all in. He works hard for the team, gives everything he's got. I think he's been a very, very good signing, personally. I think he will come good. Not a bad point. Sounded like a good atmosphere, says Robbo. I agree, pal. It sounded really good. Portsmouth always out. They're one of them clubs out there that tight ground, good atmosphere, good support. If the takeover falls through, says Josh, do you know of any other interested parties who have shown interest? I don't know of any other interested parties. It seems like, well, we can talk about this if that's what you want to talk about. Seems like it's on the rocks, And from everything you're hearing, I know Darren put something on Twitter the other day. It could be close to falling through. And from what I understand, I mentioned this the other night on the Ramble, it's certainly not a problem at Sheffield United's end. And if this is the case, then I'm more than happy to move on. I'm more than happy to move. Yes, it's 3 failed takeovers. I know the current hierarchy would have been happy for a deal to go through. But there's also some concern if they can't. Allegedly, what is supposed to be happening is they are to guarantee the EFL, the incoming owners, to guarantee the EFL to support the club over, should we not be promoted over the next season or two. If they are unwilling or unable to do that, then do we want them in the club anyway? Don't know. And it's unlikely. I know people will want to hear from the club on this, but if you look at it from a club's perspective, if we come out and we blame another party, will someone else then want to become involved in us if we've got loose lips about private business deals? Does that affect our saleability going forward? If we come out and say we did everything we could, the Americans were the ones at fault, so it's unlikely that we'll get something vocalized from the club in terms of why it's broken down, and that will then unfortunately lead to people to speculate and make their own assumptions, and it's ideal fodder for people that have already got it in for the current ownership. Likewise, you won't want to say it's the EFL demanding too much of new ownership. The new fit and proper tests are too strict, and it's going to be very difficult to buy and sell clubs in the Championship. You don't want to tarnish your relationship with the EFL, because of course you don't. It doesn't make good business. But I can tell you from everything I'm hearing in and around the club, and obviously this is not don't take this as verbatim or hard confirmation, but this is not a Sheffield United-led issue. We have done everything as a club expected of us. The Prince has signed all the necessary paperwork and agreed to everything. But rightly so, I would now be concerned with the incoming investors' desires or intentions is probably the best way to say it. So I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical. Evening, Jimmy, says Nige. Final third needs sorting out the position, and lack of shots is getting increasingly concerning. O'Hare for me needs to pick himself up. Just seems to be dropping a bit of form. I agree, pal. I agree. Cooper was man of the match for me, says Nick. Excuse me. Yes, I certainly wouldn't disagree with that. I can't believe he's ours. Best signing of the summer, in my opinion. Well said, pal. Great minds think alike. Need to try 2 up front, says GT. Not sure who we should drop. Well, logic says you'd drop Callum O'Hare then, doesn't it? That's because you're not going to drop Gus Hamer, the best output we've had all season, and you're not going to drop a legit winger if you move into a 4-4-2. We are nitpicking, but with our quality, we should be, says Jack. I think it's more than the end point, in my opinion. The players don't shoot. It looks like they're trying to be too clinical with the passes. Just shoot. Blades will be top 2, Jimmy, at the end of the season. Does the Blade? Does. I'm confident, pal. I'm confident. I've tried not to say it too loudly. That doesn't mean I'm afraid to say it, because obviously, I'll put my opinion out there. And I fancy us against anybody with this 11. I think a lot of things have got to go in our favour in terms of fitness and picking up a little bit of consistency. But I agree, mate. I agree. I think we're good. I think we're very good. Nice to see Brewster getting game time and putting himself about up the Blades, up the Ramble, says Gary. Yeah, it's good to see him back in and involved. Would you give Brewster a new contract? That's been a big talking point on the Ramble in the Ramble chat last couple of days. Take a point from that, though, says Nige. And for me, the takeover won't happen. They don't have the funds. So why would we want an owner like that who will sell our best players? Sometimes, and I can't... it's better to stick with what you know, isn't it? And people want more investment, and I understand that. Of course we do. We all want the club to progress. but we're going into the unknown with new ownership, and it always will be. They can sound like the best things in sliced bread, but we've no idea how it's going to go. It could be brilliant, could also be asset stripped, could also have ticket hikes, we could also all sorts of things. So I'll be quite happy if things stay as they are for now. Has Nick Cook ever thought of investing in the Blades? Or the Ramble? I mean, he's more than welcome. Also, with our Giants in the box, how haven't we scored from a corner? I know. Harry Suter nearly banged one straight back across box, didn't he, at one stage? I thought it was going to happen, but he didn't. Is PA just Robin Hooding deposits? I don't think we've got that far this time, to be honest. I don't think we're financially in the black in terms of all three, but I think this one will have damaged us slightly because I think we've done business in good faith, from what I understand. It's just not worked out. Did believe we smashed someone one game, but right now I think we have to wake up. We'll have a wake-up call against the top team. I hope not, pal. I hope not. We've got Swansea out with midweek at home. I'll be there. We're going to be busy next week because we're back for the warm-up with Swansea. We've got the Ramblers 3 Mardy Blades special on Monday. Then there's the warm-up. Then we've got 90 after 90 for Swansea, but we might do a joint one with the warm-up for Luton because it's Luton then on the Saturday. I'll be at the Luton game. Then we'll have 90 after 90 after that. So, yeah, busy. And then we're obviously going into international break. We've got some quite exciting things lined up that the Ramblers have been asking for. I've listened to you, and you know that we've got some stuff lined up. So exciting. Stick with the Ramble for that. Very much appreciated. That man Cooper, though, says Nige. Like, I just love Michael Cooper, don't we? Always have done on this channel. O'Hare might be out of steam, maybe. I'll drop him to make him mad and fight for that spot, says Jack. Got to be careful. I think he's a good player, but nobody's undroppable. I don't think he's necessarily doing the business at the minute. Last 2 matches, we've missed the creativity of Blaster. Different side when he's in it, says Smudge. I think Sidney Peck's done an okay job at filling in. I think he did a good job against Derby. I think he did an okay job today. Didn't really put a foot wrong. But you're right, our Blaster's one of our best players, if not our best player. So he does make a difference. I'm not sure creativity is the thing, but maybe being a little bit more assured when he's in the midfield too, which allows our creative players to be a little bit more productive. Maybe so, don't know. Evening, Jim. Could have won all 3 points, but also lost 3 points, but for Super Cooper. Absolutely right, pal. Tonight the Super Cooper lights are gonna blind me. Well, we'll get something going, won't we? Illiman only made 60, 70 minutes in his breakthrough season, so let's cool on the concern with Gilchrist. Yeah, it's just a bee in my bonnet, and you're right to calm me down on that because I think he's a great player. If I weren't that bothered, then and even the fact O'Hare comes off a lot, doesn't he? Mid-game, 60, 70 minutes. I can see that, though, when he's a flair player, always running up and down. And I know Alfie runs as well. But defenders, you don't expect to expend that much energy. And I just love him to be able to see out a game because he looks a fit lad. And he looks like he could go a full 90. But there's obviously reasons for it. You're right, Jimmy, to be fair. I don't know what it is, but we always try walking the ball into the back of the net instead of taking a shot from 6 to 18 yards out. Absolutely right, pal. Some people have mentioned it before. No, I'm not bothered about the perfect goal. It can go in off somebody's knee, off somebody's, backside if it needs to. Let's just get the goal. Unbeaten draw, away win. Unbeaten draw, away, win at home. That's the formula for promotion. I would give Brewster a new contract. Good to have around the place. Once a blade, always a blade. I wouldn't give him a new contract just because he's good to have around the place. I would give him a new contract potentially on reduced terms, maybe incentive-based, appearances or goals-based, because I think there's value in the player. Rather than letting him walk out for nothing like McBurney did and leaving it too long, I would give him a contract. Texter might be looking for a new club after the Everton takeover didn't go his way. Maybe so, Josh. Maybe so. Evening, Jim. A bit lame today. A lot of passing was off, and we do look a bit toothless, but we'll be 1 point off the top without that deduction. So I'll take. Oh, would we? Oh, that's not bad. See, this is why I don't look at tables yet. because that's a little bit more assuring, isn't it? Nige says, I was definitely Raksaki's best game so far in a Blade shirt. Not one bad player on the pitch today. Pompey just played it tactically very well. Anyone else see Sousa throwing punches at the end? No, I didn't. And I wouldn't want to see Sousa throwing punches at the end neither. Let's hope we don't get in bother for that because it's unnecessary. Top 2, we need to start scoring. I will be lucky to be in the top 6. Goals win games, and we do not score. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe, says Paul. Yeah, I think it's something we're going to have to address. What do you think the problem is, Jimmy? It looks like it can be multiple things: lack of creativity, not shooting, not being in the right place, walking the ball in the net. Next match, we should bag 3. I think Jack, if we knew that, I mean, Chrissy Wilder will be the best one to answer that question. And I think we've got everything we need, haven't we, to score at this level. We've got Kiefer Moore's scored goals at this level. Gus Amer is a cheat code at this level. We know that. Callum O'Hare hugely impacts the game at this level. Harry Souttar's done it. Michael Cooper's the best goalkeeper in the league, I believe. There's Harrison Burrows is stepping up as the best left back in League One. We have got a real Anel. Obviously, we've seen Anel do it for us. We've got all the ingredients. It's just putting it together in the right mix. Because if you've got a little bit too much flair and not enough bite and a little bit too much this or that, you can spoil the broth, can't you? And I think there's loads of little things that we've alluded to that people aren't in the right positions, or they're not quite reading where each other are going, or we're relying a little bit too much on Hamer's individual brilliance or a Callum O'Hare sparking something out of nothing. And we can't do that. We need phases and layers to our play that just don't seem to be there. My dad said last week, there doesn't seem to be a plan. It seems like we're just relying on the players being quality players, which they are, but there's no real patterns of play. And I think that's right. We do need to be shooting more when we're getting in and around the box. We don't just need to walk it in. I love that we're going to the byline more now and firing it across, but there needs to be people in the box, not just Kiefer Moore ahead of the play and it going behind him all the time. There needs to be, where is the number 10 then? Callum O'Hare, you've got to be looking as well, running in from towards like the penalty spot when these balls are firing across the box from Hamer or Raksaki. And the more from our supporting midfielders as well. So lots to think about. Was hoping we'd smash and grab that, but nearly smashed it with that header at the end. And they nearly smashed it at the end with it. Yeah, absolutely right. Crime scene cleaners. God loves a trier, and we certainly put the effort in. That goal just didn't come. No, I didn't think it would today, to be honest. I just had that feeling. My dad did. He says, don't worry about this. Don't worry. It just didn't happen, did it? Don't know what the concern is with Gilchrist. He's been playing well, and then Sariki coming on. I'm happy with it. Yeah, and maybe it's tactical to a degree as well. Maybe it's just he wants to go to a more attacking setup to chase to try and win the game, and I'm all for that. I just think Gilchrist's a very strong right back, and I don't like seeing him taken off. I didn't think it was necessarily the right thing to do to take Raksaki off today, but I don't know his fitness levels. I don't know if he'd have started to wane or anything like that. And I've been crying out for Brooks to start. I just think when Raksaki makes such a strong impression and he's playing really well, I don't know why we'd take him off personally. And that's not me. Again, that's without the information as to why. There's likely, they've got all the indications on his fitness and stuff. So there's reasons for it. It's just we'd all do something slightly different. Cooper is that good. I think he could even play up. Maybe might have to. I believe we'll smash someone soon. It's coming together, says Rob. I also thought, again, we give the ball away sloppily in midfield again. Sometimes we just keep the ball and hope for the best. Yeah, we're a bit sloppy at times. Campbell decks their keeper, didn't he, at the end? Don't like it. Clean sheets win promotion, and we're doing that 4 on the bounce. Look, I have nitpicked tonight, and that's all it is because I'm just a bit of an anxious player at times. But there's loads of positives. We're still unbeaten. We look a really difficult side to penetrate. 4 clean sheets on the bounce. Michael Cooper just looks so good. And if you've got that as a base, then you've only got to worry about going forward when you've got players like Gus Amer in your team and Callum O'Hare and Raksaki. it'll come. It will come. I do believe that. Fans gave Wilder a song at the end. I think the trust is back, and so it should be, Smudge, for me. And I understand fans' mixed feelings on Wilder, and people will still struggle with you know, the way he left and the history that we've had. But I think there's nobody better, in my opinion, to lead us back or to sort us out. And I think he has done already. I think it's the link-up play up front, says Lee. Moore needs someone up front with him. I think my dad thinks the same, to be honest. Jack says, I think when Raksaki ran into the box and he passed it and no one was there, it was an eye-opener, lack of a plan. The only players who seem to leg it to the box is Moore and Hamer. I agree with that. World-class save from Cooper, says David. Superman Mountain in defence. That's already taken that tag, I'm afraid. Gilchrist, nothing got past him. I agree. Would love to see Brewster or Campbell start up front in the next game. Who are you dropping, Lee? Who are you dropping? Because that's the question, isn't it? And that's a great question to be able to ask when we think, well, you can't drop them, and that. Something's not going right, so you've got to change something, or you've got to consider changing something. But then people are like, well, you can't drop O'Hare. You can't drop Kiefer Moore. You can't drop Raksaki after that performance. So it's good in a way, isn't it? We seem to be passing all the time. Maybe we aren't going man for man enough, like those quality runs into the box. Footy Fanatic 1889 says we aren't clinical enough. We need to play more in a McBurney role or playing two up front. When you say in a McBurney role, do you mean a little bit deeper? So that's what McBurney tended to do, weren't it? He came short for the ball a lot. I'd like to see him at the point of the attack. If we're crossing balls, not necessarily always fizz it across, but maybe a couple of eyeballs to our 6'4" striker. The number of points is more important than goals. We only scored 39 goals in our best Prem finish of 9th. Clean sheets are key. What a brilliant point to end us on, to be honest. I'm going to wrap it up there tonight. And I know, it's a bit early. But that's absolutely right, Paul. And that is perspective, isn't it? We are building a solid foundation for the squad. We've not conceded a single goal in September compared to last season. And that, what a platform to build from. So despite our concerns on us going forward, when admittedly there's not many better in the division that you'd want to put in the team, it's just how we make all the brilliant parts work together. The solid foundation of the back five is already banking as a point, isn't it, before kickoff? So if you don't think we're going to concede, then we've got at least a point to start with, and then we've just got to build on that. I think we beat Swansea. And I don't know how Swansea have gone on today, but I think at home, under the lights, and we'll do a warm-up because there's going to be, I believe there's going to be some sort of dedications to Johnny at some stage. So I want to be able to get all the information and bring it to you so we can all participate, everybody that's able to go. But yeah, Nigel just says, drop O'Hare, put Gus in central attacking midfield and Campbell on the wing. Drop O'Hare, play Hamer in the middle and Campbell on the left, says Jack. That space and balls could supply more for more. Goals win your games, defences win your titles, says Sir Alex. Nice. Would maybe drop O'Hare, move Hamer into the number 10 role with Brewster out left and Campbell up front? Oh, big changes from Lee. Who knows? Next game we might bag 4 and it was just an off day. Maybe so. Danny Boy says, fair result, Jimmy. Can't argue. If offered the position we're in at the moment, at the beginning of the season, snatch their hand off, pal. And I think we all would. We all would, wouldn't we? And that's a fair point to end it on. So I'm going to say thank you, everybody, for all your support today, as always. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. All that blame.